Hey, what's up, chess lovers, and welcome back to Chessway. In today's video, we've got an absolutely wild game played between Mikhail Tal and Mark Ribben on October 11th, 1990. All right, guys, the game begins with e4 and black responds with d6. Then comes d4, followed by g6. Okay, that's a clear signal. White develops the knight to c3 and black fianchettos with bishop to g7. Now, you already know, when the opponent plays such a defensive setup, Tal loves it. He immediately goes for the attack with pawn to f4. This is the three-pawn attack in the King's Indian defense. So, of course, the response is knight to f6, and Tal mirrors it with knight to f3. Usually, black can castle, play c5, or even knight to c6, but Mark decides on a solid pawn to c6 setup. Since white's f-pawn is already pushed, Tal continues calmly with bishop to e2, and black replies with knight from b to d7. After Tal castles short, Mark goes for a central strike with pawn to e5. Now, this is interesting because black hasn't castled yet, and already he's opening the center. If Tal takes with the d-pawn, after a few exchanges, queens could come off the board and black would lose the right to castle. But Tal doesn't take with the d-pawn, he captures with the f-pawn instead. Black recaptures, Tal takes back again, attacking the knight. The knight jumps to g4, counterattacking the pawn 3 times. Tal calmly pushes pawn to e6, hitting the knight right back. And instead of saving the knight, black plays queen to b6, check. There's no choice, Tal moves the king to h1. Then comes knight to f2, check. Tal has to take the knight. After that, black recaptures with the queen. Yes, white could take that knight now, and honestly, he'd be clearly winning. But of course, Tal does things his own way. He plays queen to d6. What is this man doing? Let's pause and look at the insane idea behind Tal's move. If the knight retreats to c5, Tal has a shocking move ready. Knight sacrifice on d5. It's simple, but almost impossible to find over the board, because it threatens 2 checkmates at once. There's nothing black can do except capture the knight. Then comes bishop to b5, check. The king can't move. No matter how you block with a bishop or knight, the bishop just takes it with check again. If the king goes to d8, pawn checkmate. So the only defense is to take the bishop, and then queen takes bishop, check. King forced to f8, and now queen takes f7, checkmate. Unbelievable. Who could have predicted Tal's mind works like this? When his brain switches to attack mode, everything, absolutely everything, becomes a weapon. But okay, let's get back to the real game. After seeing the potential knight jump to d5, Mark decides to strike back. He captures the knight. This also attacks the bishop. Now what's Tal gonna do? Take the knight, take the bishop, or retreat? Nope, of course not. Tal plays bishop to g5. Absolutely brutal. Blocking with the bishop doesn't work. Blocking with the knight? Nope, pawn takes bishop first. So the only move left is pawn to f6, kicking the bishop. What does Tal do now? He plays rook to d1. What a spectacular move! Totally outside normal calculation. Let's look deeper. If black takes the bishop, white immediately plays pawn takes knight, check. If black takes back, then after the recapture, it's check and the king can only go to f, but then bishop to c4, and it's all over for black. Or if the king goes to f7, then white calmly plays queen to c7, preparing to promote the pawn with check, and white will have 2 queens. If bishop blocks on f6, then yes, promotion to knight, double check. No matter where the king goes, the answer is the same. Queen to f7, checkmate. Once again, a totally insane attacking idea. Okay, back to the game. In this difficult position, Mark finally captures the light-squared bishop. But now it's time for Tal to collect the pieces. First, pawn takes knight check. After king to f7, There's no queen to c7 because black can take the rook, and that's exactly why Mark took the light-squared bishop earlier. So Tal simply takes the bishop, and now black is completely doomed, especially after Mark plays rook to f8. Things are about to explode. Watch how Tal finishes this masterpiece. He starts with another sacrifice, knight to e5, check. There are 3 possible replies, but no matter what, the result is the same. Mark captures the knight, and then Tal sacrifices the queen. And right here, Mark Ribben resigns.
If the king takes the queen, the pawn promotes with check. There are 2 choices for the king, but no matter where he goes, it's answered with queen to e7. Again, 2 choices, but no matter where the king goes, rook to d8, checkmate. That's the first variation. Let's go back for a second. Here, there's one last option for black. Yes, the king to e6. Now, there are so many ways to deliver checkmate in this position. You could go queen e8, g8, f6, or something truly special, pawn promotion to a knight, checkmate. Ha ha! That's an absolutely insane checkmate. The king is right in the middle of the board, yet he's checkmated by a knight. A spectacular masterpiece by Mikhail Tal. All right, guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something new. If I made any mistakes, I sincerely apologize. Thank you so much for watching, chess lovers.
And see you in the next video.